And we got our captioning. Do we have our recording? All that good stuff.
Yes.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to give people a couple of minutes here to get back from the breakout rooms or lunch or whatever that everybody decided to do. And if you want to right now, you can go ahead and drop in the Q&A, you know, what you're liking so far. That would be awesome.
I'll go first. Man, I really was having a great time during Michael Beers's stand-up routine. That was great.
Definitely. He is super funny.
We have 5 attendees so far. We're just going to give you guys a couple more minutes. Because I feel a prize coming on.
Yeah, just let me know what time you want me to start welcome. What time you want me to do the introduction of welcome back.
Absolutely. I think Jordan will let us know when it's
Okay.
time, and we'll go for it.
I'm just going to give them 2 more minutes. All right, Mike, we lost a few attendees, but you can take us back whenever you're ready.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our Advocacy Symposium. And it's that time again, Jordan. So go ahead and pick a prize. Draw a number.
All right, Echo. Pick a random number between 1 and 41.
Here's a number between 1 and 41. It's 39.
Okay, 39. Let me go down my list. 39, we have Fermina Martinez, and I don't see her in the list. So, Echo, choose another number between 1 and 41.
Here's a number between 1 and 41. It's 4.
Okay, we'll go back up to 4. Pam Bean. No, I think I selected her last time and they really want Pam to win and she's not winning. Okay, Echo, choose a number between 1 and 41.
Here's a number between 1 and 41. It's 13.
Okay, lucky number 13. is Tao. And Tao is here.
Yay!
All right.
Whoop, whoop.
Prize winner. Lucky, lucky. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay. All right, Aubrey, you're up next.
All right. I would like to introduce Jordan Noble and Sarah Harris. You may know them. They are going to be doing a video entitled 5 Questions to Ask Yourself When Self-Advocating. So first I'll talk about Jordan. Jordan Noble is a student at Fresno State CSUF in her last stretch of the master's program for rehabilitation counseling. She works as the Youth Empowerment Services Cares Assistant at RICV. She is a young mother of an almost 3-year-old and most enjoys impromptu dance parties with her wife and son. She has worked at RICV as an intern and then got hired as a part-time YES specialist. Sarah Harris is the Director of Programs at Resources for Independent Central Valley, the first Vice President of the California Council of the Blind statewide membership organization, as well as the local chapter president. She serves on the City of Fresno's Disability Advisory Commission, Transportation Subcommittee, Fresno County Voters Accessibility Advisory Committee, Central Learning Alternative School Site Council member, and California's Blind Advisory Committee. She is a mom, wife, advocate, and coffee lover. She believes that many things that provide equity and equality for people with disabilities really can benefit everyone. She has worked with school districts, local, county, and state government entities and places of public accommodation to bring awareness to accessibility and usability of goods and services through education and old-fashioned conversation. All right, take it away.
All right, so this is 5 questions to ask when self-advocating.
And this is a pre-recorded video.
Mhm. Full screen it, turn on my captions, and away we go.
Jordan Noble, and I'm going to be presenting with Sarah Harris from Resources for Independence Central Valley. And we're going to be going over 5 questions to ask yourself when self-advocating. So I've got a picture here of a timeline, and it's got the 5 questions. So the first one is, what can make the situation better? The second one is it worth it? The third one is, what can I say? How can I say what I'm feeling in the best way? The fourth one is, do I need some backup? And the 5th question is, how brave am I? So we're going to go over these.
So the first question is, what can make the situation better? So once you get out of griping mode and get into strategizing mode, that's where you can make the big difference. So coming up with a solution to the problem that you can bring to the table will make all of the difference when you're advocating about something. A good example is maybe when you are taking a test, you have trouble with finishing on time and you need like 10 more minutes. So maybe if you came to your teacher and instead of just saying, I never finished my test on time, you tell your teacher, hi, I really feel that if I had 10 more minutes each day, I would be able to finish my test on time. And that's it. You came with a solution and no one is going to be able to question what it is that you think is going to work best for you. 2, is it worth it? So sometimes there's things in life that we could probably adapt to, and maybe it's not something that's directly affecting us. For instance, maybe the mascot of our school is a polar bear and we don't really like polar bears, but that's been the mascot of the school for like 47 years. Is it worth making a big fuss and starting a petition to get that bear taken away, or would we be better off with living with it. We're not going to be at that school forever. Number 3, how can I say what I am feeling in the best way? So sometimes when we're really, really upset about something, we can be mad. But when you're going to advocate, the best thing to do is to be respectful. Don't yell. Really take the time to think about what it is that you're going to say and approach the situation with kindness and thought rather than anger and shouting.
And we've got a picture here of 2 people shaking hands over the word respect.
Number 4, do I need some backup? So backup could be a couple different things. Backup could be research. Maybe whatever it is that you're advocating for actually has a law behind it. And taking the time to research that law and know it backwards and forwards can really make a difference. Or maybe it's a time for some community organizing, getting some other people together within your school, your family, your community who feel the same way about an issue can really make the advocacy stronger.
And then we've also got a picture of a group of people standing in front of the Capitol building.
And the last one is, how brave am I? And how brave am I can go a couple different ways. So am I brave enough to really go and take the time to talk with this person about how I'm feeling? Am I brave enough to write that letter to my congressperson? It's all about taking that moment to step outside of your comfort zone. And when you're all done, then you again ask yourself, how brave am I? And you realize that you are very brave because you took the time to stand up for what you felt was important to you and to your community or to your fellow friends, classmates, or family.
And then we've got a picture here of a man who's standing in a suit and tie. But if his shadow becomes a person that's standing there with a cape like a Superman. So it's like he, may appear just a regular suit and tie guy, but his confidence and being brave, makes his shadow be something else. So thank you very much for coming to this presentation. We hope that you guys have learned something about advocacy and you go out there and make a difference.
I don't know.
Okay, next I am honored to introduce Chloe Hagan.
So today you're going to meet a world-class expert.
Oh, hold on real quick, Mike. We're not there yet.
Okay.
Do we have any questions, Jordan?
Sorry, guys, that was it was going and playing the next video that wasn't even what I asked it to. So yes, I apologize. We do have one. Oh, Tao said woohoo in the chat about winning. But do we have any questions about advocacy? Aubrey, I'm gonna have you take a look at that real quick while I pull up the next video.
Sounds good. Nothing's come through yet.
Awesome. And if you come up with questions and you don't ask them right now, you can always find Jordan and I. All right, going once, going twice. Anything in the chat, Aubrey?
Nothing still, no.
All right, Mikey, you're up now.
Okay, next I'm honored to introduce Chloe Hagan, our career exploitation. She is 22 and lives in Lodi with her family. She's a certificate in communication and in studying is studying to get her pre-social work associate's degree. She is passionate about helping people with disabilities and becoming a motivational speaker.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen again. This is a pre-recorded video. Turn on my closed captions. And here we go.
Good morning, guys, or good afternoon, or whatever time it is right now. My name is Chloe Hagan, and I'll be talking to you guys and presenting to you guys about career exploration. I have two pictures up right now, and one of them is a picture of a cloud, and it says career planning, and it's pointing to all the different things you need to plan your career. So we have like checklist, education, motivation, qualification, strength and weaknesses, define goals, career ladder, and success. And in the other picture, it has a person running, it seems like to a job, and there's a bunch of gadgets and gizmos just turning, and it has some success words to it as well. So the topics that I will be talking to you guys about today are how to search for jobs, questions to ask yourself when picking your job, what do you need to do to go into this certain career field, how to become a teacher, how to become a social worker, how to become a teacher's assistant, and how to become a hairstylist. We'll also be talking about what is career exploration, and finally, examples of career exploration. So how to search for jobs. Some great websites that you should start with are Indeed.com, Glassdoor, Career Builder, Monster, and Simply Hired. These are all great websites to search up and look for job opportunities. So how to search for jobs. So type in the keywords that you find are, you're wanting to look for, are interested in. For example, waiter or waitress, host or hostess, cashier, usher, or maybe an office assistant. So after you have picked your open position, go and update your resume, make sure it looks good and professional, update your cover letter and your reference list. And once you've done that, you can go to their website and go to the apply section or button and apply for that position online. And finally, you'll wait for a call from the company for an interview. Now, you might not get an interview, and that's okay. You just gotta apply to another one. Questions to ask yourself when picking a job or career. Is this a full-time job or a part-time position? Will this job work with my schedule? Because maybe you have a really busy schedule. Maybe you only want a part-time job. So, those are great questions to ask yourself. What am I passionate about? What are my interests? And what is my personality? What do you need to go in this career field? So in the next couple slides, I will show you potential career fields you can go into and the outcomes of career exploration. So how to become a teacher. Obtain a relevant bachelor's degree. Complete a district or state-approved teacher's preparation program. Passed required exams in school district and or state, like the pre-6. Then finally, submit a state teaching license application. How to become a social worker. Complete a bachelor's degree in social work or related field. Pursue a master's degree in social work. Complete fieldwork hour requirements. Apply for state social work licensure. Choose a social work career and advance your practice through continued learning. So here we have a picture of a social worker talking to one of their clients and giving them ideas and yeah, just learning with them. Now become a teacher's assistant. So you will want to earn your associate's degree in education, assistant teaching, or related subjects. Complete an internship as a teacher's assistant. Take any test required in your state for a teacher's assistant licensure. Apply for your teacher's assistant license. And finally, begin applying to open teacher's assistant positions. So how to become a hairstylist. Now, becoming a hairstylist doesn't require any higher education, like a college degree, but it has its own programs and other classes you'll need. So here are some of the requirements to become a hairstylist. You will want to meet all the minimum enrollment requirements for your hairstylist school. Enroll in a state-approved hair design program. Complete your hands-on training hours. Pass your state licensure exam. And meet minimum age requirements for your program. And finally, earn your high school diploma or GED. Now here we have a picture of a hairstylist doing hair on her client. I think they're doing highlights or retouching highlights. She has blonde hair. So yeah. What is career exploration? Well, to put it simply, career exploration is simply learning about many jobs and careers and their fit with your unique career preferences. For example, the skills, interests, and values you want to satisfy by your career. Ideally, you would want to engage in career exploration during or after identifying your career preferences through self-assessment. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great day.
All right. So do we have any questions about career exploration?
And Chloe is sorry she couldn't be here today. She had another thing going on, but we're so happy that she recorded a video. So Jordan and I are here to field any questions if there are any.
Not seeing any questions.
Oh, then let's do a prize.
All right.
That's the real question. When's there going to be another prize?
Echo. Choose a random number between 1 and 41.
Here's a number between 1 and 41. It's 35.
All right. 35 is Shannon Mulhall, and I know that Shannon is here.
Woo-hoo! I know
Right.
her.
You know.
So Shannon, you'll be receiving a surprise gift card. Yay! Surprises are good. Sometimes, not all the time, most of the time. This one will be. All right, let's see. Oh, I lost my speech on my device.
You know, Shannon put in the Q&A, she said, thanks, I'm going to decline. Can you pick a new name?
Sure.
Ah,
right.
we can.
Very sweet.
Let me delete that real quick. Okay. Echo. Choose a random number between 1 and 41.
Here's a number between 1 and 41. It's 16.
All right. Josh Legespi.
Did Josh make it back? I know he was here earlier.
Yeah, he made it back. Prize winner.
All right.
Congratulations, Josh.
I know that guy too.
He said, hello, that's me. Yes, congratulations. You'll get an email with your prize in it.
For sure. And yay, my speech, I found it again on my device. I'm able to turn on my camera. And at this time, I would like to invite Vidal Medina and Jessica Ristra to turn on their cameras and join me on the virtual stage as well. We are going to have them as our next guest. And Jordan is going to help me. She's going to be my eyeballs, and she's going to read their bios.
Okay, let me spotlight Jessica real quick.
And I'm going to pull up my questions over here.
Okay, here we go. So first I'm going to talk about Jessica. Jessica, oh, hang on, this popped up over what I'm supposed to be reading. Okay, so Jessica joined CFILC as a statewide youth organizer. Her role is to support disabled youth ages 16 to 28 to be educated, to connect with one another, and to organize for their rights to be heard. Jessica has a history in organizing. So prior to CFILC, she was a regional organizing director for March of Our Lives, in which she oversaw the entire West Coast region. She additionally has history with campaigning, having worked for the California Democratic Party. She was born and raised in Santa Ana, California, and she attended Sacramento State University in Sacramento, California, where she earned 2 degrees in political science and ethnic studies with a concentration in Chicanic studies. Jessica loves working in the nonprofit realm and contributing back to her community. Moreover, she is stoked to make a positive impact within the CFILC community. And then we also have Vidal Medina, and he has been employed at Resources for Independence Central Valley, RICV, for over 18 years. And we serve Fresno, Merced, Madera, Kings, and Tulare counties. And he is a systems change advocate. In his experience, Vidal has provided Social Security, independent living, housing, travel training, peer support assistance, and system and individual advocacy to persons with disabilities in the 5 county areas. Vidal is currently a member of the President's Committee on Disabilities and Access on the campus of Fresno State as the community liaison to the President's Committee on Disabilities and Access. And she is a current member on the Social Services Transportation Advisory Council. It's a lot of letters, SSTAC, with the Fresno Council of Governments, FCOG. And Vidal has a Bachelor of Science in Health Science, Health Services option from California State University of Fresno. And Vidal shares a passion for working with persons of all disabilities as he became legally blind with optic nerve damage to both eyes in 1994. Vidal was a licensed vocational nurse in his first profession and believes his training provides the unique understanding and compassion when working with all consumers. Last year, he received the Lifetime Achievement Award from the City of Fresno for community advocacy for persons with disabilities. Woo! So thank you both.
Beautiful. And thank you, Jordan, for being my eyeballs. That would have took forever for me to read, guys. So
Oh, yeah.
be thankful that Jordan is willing to do that for me. So, all right. So this panel, we are going to be discussing being employed as an advocate. it's one thing to be out there in the community, or doing self-advocacy, but it's a whole different thing to be employed as an advocate. And so I just want to thank Jessica and Vidal for being here with me, because you guys are awesome. And my first question, and I'm going to have Jessica answer first, is, what is it like to be employed as an advocate, and what are some of the main duties of your job?
For sure. Well, for one, thank you for inviting me, and I'll just do a quick um explain who I am. My name is Jessica Restra. I am the youth organizer with CFIOC. I am a brown Latina woman with dark brunette hair, brown eyes, and I am wearing an Adidas sweatshirt, which is between yellow, white, and brown. Being employed in CFIOC is really great. I'm able to oversee the Yo Disabled and Proud program, which is a youth organizing program that specifically focuses on helping out young people between the ages of 16 to 28. However, within that realm, I'm also able to collaborate with different departments within the California Foundation for Independent Living Centers, and being able to transcend more when it comes towards like how disability rights affects young people. So we're able to interconnect with disaster preparedness, and being able to like talk about like that, and being able to provide the appropriate resources and like the accommodations towards like our youth. But we're also right now delving deeper into policy, and being able to see how policy affects our youth, and like being able to make sure that like our generation, because I am also part between the ages of 16 to 28, is able to have their voices be vocalized. It is very exciting, especially coming in because I am one of the younger ones. So it is being able to like understand, have a sense of mentorship from a lot of the people that I work with, because I am constantly growing as an individual and as a leader. But at the same time, I'm also think I'm able to bring some fresh ideas when it comes towards how disability rights intersects with disability justice. Also like that being because I went through a lot of struggles when it came towards the college campus, from like being a brown woman, and sometimes like the institutional racism that is faced within like the campuses, and not being able to have your voices be heard, especially if you had a disability, and not necessarily having the appropriate accommodations is something that like I struggled with. So it's like being able to bring those fresh ideas of how we could make sure that like our youth is being heard on a statewide level. So like I think it's been such a great, I am barely 3 months in. I actually just had my 3-month anniversary with the organization. So I'm very excited to see what more can be done. But yeah, everyone's really great. Like I must say that like I'm also learning and growing. It's been wonderful being also able to work with every independent living center, and just being able to see what each center is bringing, like what they are doing in their communities, how we could be able to help support what is needed, what resources can be able to be provided and utilized towards making sure that like we're all growing as a community, because at the end of it, we're all learning from one another, and we're all trying to make sure that throughout the state, every voice is being heard, no matter like your race, no matter like your sexuality or how you look like. You want to make sure that every voice is being heard on all scales. So it's something wonderful being able to be in this position, because I love organizing, and it's been something that I've been doing for quite a few years. So I've loved it. And just being able to like be in this position, and like just being able to organize with Yo Disabled and Proud is very exciting, because I think we are going in a new realm when it comes towards having young people really take a stance, when it comes towards making sure their voices are being heard, and our youth, our volunteers are really like bringing in a lot of perspective about like a lot of changes that need to be implemented. So I cannot say how like proud I am of being able to be in this position, between growing, learning, and also just like being able to like incorporate myself with like young people, because like I understand and I empathize because their struggles are my struggles. I'm still in different transitions in my life. So it's really exciting. And like, I also must say it's really great to be able to work with Sarah and Vidal and everyone, because everyone's been such a good mentor for me, because this is something that like I'm still learning and growing from. So yeah, I just must say I'm very grateful towards everyone.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Jessica. And I have to say, Jessica's really gotten 2022 off to a great start with having these monthly calls with everyone that's involved with youth and advocacy from across the state within our Centers for Independent Living on a call connecting, because that's where it all starts is, our youth empowerment specialist or youth coordinators, depending on what center you're at, like Jordan and Aubrey, are really the ones that are working with our youth and knowing what they need. And then our systems change advocates, community organizers, they know what the hot topics are in advocacy. And so bringing those two forces together is really going to make a difference in our youth's lives. So I really, really commend you on that, because I think that's amazing. So thank you, Jessica. All right, now Vidal, it's your turn. What is it like to be employed as an advocate, and what are some of the main roles of your job?
Yeah, thank you. And I want to thank everyone for sharing their Saturday with us on this symposium. I'm going to do a description of myself. I am a well-preserved 68-year-old male, Hispanic origin, and that's my opinion of well-preserved. I have a reddish shirt on, and I wear glasses, and I have a beard. And my hair is black, but it's not dyed. So I'd like to start out with, it's an interesting job. I've been with the agency and done other jobs for 18 years, as was mentioned by Jordan. But one of the things that I think about advocacy when I do it, or when I think about advocates in general, is that there is a responsibility to the community you serve and the mission of your center. In the case of RICV, it's empowering independence. And I think that's an important paragraph, because for me, it's sort of like you really have to feel a sense of responsibility and community pride when you're working with persons with disabilities. As for me, I am a person with disabilities. So the duties of my position fall in line with the mission and the movement that began in 1970. In other words, I must focus on issues that may be barriers to independent living. They may be in the areas of housing, employment, transportation, education. And what I meant by that was it's really important to understand that this isn't just you as an individual, that you are part of the mission of your agency. For those of you who are thinking about becoming independent, system change advocates, it's the mission of your agency. You represent your agency at all times. But the bigger piece is the movement. What got this started? And it's really important to remember that in advocacy, because it all comes back to that at some point in your career. And I can attest to that. Over. I'll say over to give you a clue, Sarah.
Well, I just was unmuting. I didn't get there yet. So no, thank you so much, Vidal. And
absolutely.
So our next question is, tell us about an issue that you advocated for, and something that kind of sticks out in your memory. Jessica, you go first.
Just to make sure, would it be like right now, like in the work that we are doing, or just in general?
Just in general.
I mean, yes, for sure. For me, a big issue that like I have always advocated in any type of work that I've done definitely has to be just disability justice, but really going into like stuff being able to talk about racial justice and so on. Kind of makes sense with it being one of my majors, like having ethnic studies be part of like what I'm used to and what like I learned. And throughout all my work, I always wanted to make sure that there was a sense of equity and inclusion. in everything that I do. So right now, a big project that I'm very like passionate about and that like I'm very excited for is being able to talk about like our new work that we are doing. We are doing these speaker series that talk more about equity, like talk about disability justice and what it means, like for example being a person of color but also being disabled, and like going through different realms and just being able to talk about those like differences and how they affect you, like how they affect your family and so on, because I always think that there's more to the picture, and there definitely is, and being able to delve deeper into that discussion is very crucial. More often than not, I have spoken towards a lot of different individuals within these past 3 months where I have learned that many people have not been heard and that they have not been feeling welcome just because they might look different or just because they're not necessarily the people that sometimes are represented. So it's something that's very deep and close to my heart, making sure that everyone feels heard. So like I'm doing it through different realms. Like right now within the monthly youth calls that we are doing, we started creating 3 different subgroups, kind of working committees, where we talk about different issues and how we could be able to delve deeper into it. So we have right now civic engagement, we have education and disaster preparedness, and being able to go deeper into those discussions and how they affect the youth. That way we could be able to bring that into the main discussion and see how we could interconnect with the Do Network program and being able to delve deeper into those sense of discussions and making sure that our youth voices are being heard, because we are all part of the same community, and it's important for all of us to stand in solidarity with one another, because our struggles are very common with one another, but it's also important towards being able to see that like our differences and also our similarities are so interconnected, and it's so beautiful to be able to see how different we are from one another but also how similar we are, and being able to bring that into a bigger discussion. And that's something that I'm doing, and it's really great because a lot of our youth, a lot of different centers are very empowered by that, and a lot of people are taking stronger stances and making sure that disability justice is also becomes more of like kind of discussion thing within disability, right? So I'm very excited to see what 2022 has in store for all the centers and also for CFILC. But yeah, that's like something I'm very stoked for. I'm very, very excited to see what the future has in store.
So really just taking your own experiences in advocacy work when it comes to intersectionality and moving it into this realm and teaching others, and that's going to be really important, and especially as we look at our world, it keeps changing and evolving, and so that's awesome. Thank you. All right, Vidal, you're on.
Yes, well, I really thought about this question a lot, and I really thought about how would I relate it to maybe the audience that's here at the symposium. And I'm hoping there's a lot of folks who are thinking about becoming advocates, who are advocates, and it's a great opportunity for them. Anytime there's been a movement, and it's still going on, which is happening with the independent living movement. But I want to take the liberty and share a story about a young man that was born January 23rd, 1939 in San Mateo, California. He contracted polio at the age of 14 in 1953, and after 18 months in the hospital, returned home as a paraplegic. He was paralyzed from the neck down. This young man, his name is Ed Roberts. We're celebrating his birthday this month on the 23rd. And after that, just an incredible and horrendous thing that happened to him, this is what he did. After a lot of trouble and a lot of work as an advocate and activist, he did some things that after he was admitted to Berkeley. So after being admitted to Berkeley, he worked with the university to develop the physically disabled students program. Now, it's interesting that we have all these programs, and a lot of us don't even think of where they came from, but we have disability programs for students on many campuses, both at JC colleges and universities. But this particular program struck me kind of different, because I know what the programs are about now. That program was about wheelchair repair, attendant referrals, peer counseling, and other services that would enable them to live in the community. And this apparently would be the campus community. So that's an interesting difference between what it is today. Today, it's about how you receive help to finish your education. So that's a whole big difference. And Mr. Roberts graduated, he earned his bachelor's degree in 1964 and a master's in 1966, both in political science. Mr. Roberts, with the help of some federal funding, started the first Center for Independent Living in Berkeley. And I hope that all of you out there someday get an opportunity to go to Berkeley, to the Ed Roberts campus. It is an incredible site. The creation of the center, that center in Berkeley, started a national movement. In 1978, the Federal Rehabilitation Act was amended to include Title VII, which for the first time provided federal funding for the development of a national network. And as we know, in California, there are called Centers for Independent Living. There's about 27. And it is interesting that this one individual created all of this. And so for me, it says a lot about my story. The question was about things that I remember or advocacy. And everything has to do with the opportunity to do this. And this individual gave that to us. So I'll go into what, so basically that's the answer to that question for me. I wanted to share a little bit about what advocacy things that I've done or collaborations. I'll say this about advocacy, it's the individual who wants to be part of the bigger picture for better and bigger solutions for everyone. System change is about the system. There is individual advocacy that plays a role, but it's about the bigger system. So the way I want to kind of talk about it a little bit is about what the collaborations are. The local collaborations, as mentioned, the PCDA, which is President's Committee on Disability and Access. I was a student on that committee prior to graduating in 2002. So as the community liaison or community representative, I've been on that committee for 20 years. And it makes a difference, not that my voice has the power of one voice, but it has the power of our agency, Resources for Independence, and every agency that we collaborate with, and which is really an important piece of all of this. The other committee was talked about was the SS TAC, the Social Service, Transportation Advisory Council with the COG, the Council of Governments. And that's important too, but that's only one of many committees that you must be on. This committee is important. Like I said, sometimes transportation could be a barrier to independent living. So as advocates, you want to find those organizations that really do make a difference in decision-making within your local area and within the state area and the national as well. We have a very good partnership with the Disability Advisory Commission with the City of Fresno, and Shannon Mulhall's on this call, on this webinar. And it was interesting, yesterday I got a hold of someone named Jan at the Pacific ADA Center who actually knew Shannon or knows Shannon. And there was a connection. There was a connection just by my inquiry to them, to the ADA Pacific Center. They knew someone that I knew. And that made a difference in the conversation, believe it or not, that we had yesterday. And so it's important to have those connections. The other connection locally is, for me, is Measure C. Now, Sarah mentioned she's on the executive committee for Measure C. Measure C has a lot to do with our community because it's going to create funds, monies that could be used for, again, for transportation, walkability, all those things that really make a difference in independent living for our consumers. And I'm the alternate for the working group for Measure C. And I am the alternate for Mary Zavala. Mary Zavala is a very well-known person here in the community. She's been the League of Women Voters. She actually was one of the starters of the Measure C and that committee. So I'm honored that she asked me to sit as an alternate. I hope that I get the opportunity to kind of talk about our consumer base and how important transportation and other things that the Measure C money could afford to for us to have in our community. The other two organizations that are not locally, not locally, but they are in the state of California. So I always want to mention them too. It's Disability Rights of California. They've done so many things with CFILC and with us and DREDF, Disability Rights Education and Defense Fund. And we've done a lot of things with them as far as support. There's something called calls to action, which you are making phone calls. You're actually getting consumers at your center to make calls and represent their concerns on particular issues that these two organizations are following. I want to mention some national organizations quickly here. And the whole idea is this is for those advocates or those folks thinking of becoming advocates, is to really think about who are the players in a lot of the decision making. And I mentioned some at the local level, but now at the state level, one of the big groups that I'm really proud of is CFILC. It's California Federation for Independent Living Centers, and they've done a lot of work. And I've known them when I first started, and it was a little bit different. They've evolved into what they are now. This organizing network, which is the DO network, a disability organizing network, which I'm part of, and all the system change advocates are part of that. So it gives us a hub or a connection when we're talking about issues that are similar, but in different demographics, because our centers are located elsewhere. There's another couple of organizations I need to mention, and these are legal organizations. There's a lot of lawyers that are involved in some of the issues that affect us today and in the future. Justice and Aging is fighting senior poverty through law, and their webinars are incredibly insightful because they're following sort of the pulse of what's happening with our seniors. And they're an important organization. I already mentioned the Pacific ADA Center for Region 9. Every area, every region has one of these centers that kind of helps us with ADA information, brochures. Region 9 is Arizona, California, Hawaii, Nevada, and the Pacific Basin. The other organization nationally is the National Council for Independent Living, which celebrated its 40th years of service, and I think we've gone over that. But they're a great organization. They do a lot of presentations. National Center on Law and Elder Rights, and the Network for Public Health Law. And I just wanted to those were the things I wanted to mention as to what some of the connections that you must have as an advocate. It is not always what's happening in your town. It is about the national, it is about the state. That's why I really enjoyed the new network, because I think that for many years we had no connection with each other. We are all advocates. Our consumers are persons with disabilities, and the barriers and the concerns that our community has are very similar, other than where we're at. So thank you for listening and your time. I'm done, Sarah.
Awesome. And so, you know what I love? I love that both of you took that question and you took it to a whole different level, which is awesome. And what you did there, Vidal, where you started off with talking about Ed Roberts and what he was able to do, and how, you know, that's brought us full circle into the work that we do. And it's all really about collaborating and networking. Because, you know, I know this as well, as, you know, with being an advocate, is, you know, there's times where you go, I have this problem, this person called me and they need help with this issue. And you go through your Rolodex. Oh, anybody know what that means? And your mind, and you go, wait, who can I call? I know Rolodex, right? So funny. I was like, who do I call? And that's what we do, you know, and we reach out to, you know, different organizations, different people, you know, and like Vidal mentioned Shannon, you know, Shannon's one of our #1 go-tos here in Fresno. And it's so lovely to be able to, you know, work with people on that level and really be able to make a difference. And so, no, I love how you guys both took that and made it into something really meaningful to paint that picture.
Can
So
I jump in?
yeah.
Some people have asked some questions of Vidal.
Well, we're gonna
Okay.
get there at the end. We're gonna hold
Can I
questions to the end.
Can I have one last comment on this?
Yes.
Okay, so you mentioned all the folks that we have to kind of bounce things off. Ed Roberts, he had civil rights movement leaders, Martin Luther King, Cesar Chavez, something. I mean, it really was, and there's stories about the Black Panthers giving them some advice as well. But it's interesting that the civil rights movement was a movement of persons with disabilities as well. And even though sometimes we never kind of connect that, but any movement that you're doing and there's opposition, it's about civil rights, almost always. If you look at the other movements at the same time that Ed Roberts was dealing with this, it was about feeling that you were entitled to something, but you were being denied. And those are the freedoms that movements really take shape and they go forward. And for me, I believe it's still going forward with the disability community. There are still a lot of freedoms that those that take those freedoms for granted, we can't. So that's my last comment. Over.
That's true, but we all deserve dignity and respect. All right, so here's going to be my last little, and then we're going to roll into questions. Then we're going to bring it back to Jessica to plug Yo. All right, so your 30-second-ish elevator pitch. Your throw it out in the universe to new advocates. What's your best advice for new advocates? And let's go. You know what? Let's let Vidal go first.
Okay. The advice is that you must be an advocate for yourself first. You must know what that feels like. You must know what it takes to do that. And then you can think about advocating for others. It's about you and your place within that particular kind of work. But never think you can't do it. It's about living with your disability, accepting your disability, and then using all of that to be the advocate for yourself first and then for others. And it will come to fruition. A lot of us think we can't do it, but we can. And we just haven't thought about what we've been doing all our lives as persons with disabilities.
Or just as people, right? Just as people. That's for sure. Awesome. Thank you, Vidal. That was very meaningful. All right, Jessica, you're in the hot seat.
For me, it's actually kind of the same. Like, it's important for one to be able to understand themselves, understand their own individual struggles, what they're going through, being able to like really delve deep into that, and then being able to utilize your own individual experiences towards being able to build you up as a leader. And then from there, like, for me, it's just like there, and then like what your family is going through, what you're going through as a family, being able to utilize that, because I believe that everything comes from within, and everything that we do is through our own individual passions, and usually those passions are because you're able to connect with them. So once you're able to connect with that, it's so much easier towards being able to fight for others, being able to provide back to your community, because you're going through the struggles and you're living through it. So it's a sense of building up and being able to redefine the importance of what like community building is, how it affects you and how it affects those that surround you, towards being able to be the best possible leader you can be.
Ah, that was awesome. All right. So now, Jordan, questions.
Okay, so the first one was from Shannon. She said, Vidal, you model a style of systems change advocacy that really looks at the big picture, community needs versus individual needs. Can you talk about how you approach this? It isn't always easy to move beyond individual advocacy. Any tips for how to do this? Thanks.
Well, Shannon and everyone else listening to this, I was a individual advocate for many, many years, and I approached system change from an individual advocacy point of view. But then I learned as time went on that it should be backwards. It should be looking at system change from the system of which those individuals must function within. And it becomes a different kind of animal, because it's sort of like you must have the strong partnerships and able to navigate these systems that are convoluted at best and difficult to understand sometimes. So when you have these collaborations like with Shannon, she helps us. She helps us with what the city is doing, how they're doing, how they make decisions, and making us part, us advocates out here, making us part of trying to understand how these systems work. And same thing with the COG. If you understand that, you would be a better advocate, advocating for system change for everyone instead of individual, because they're big things, big kind of audiences that you have to be very careful with what you say and how you say it. And but not to say that you can't get things done, because you can. RICV has, through all the staff that we have that's worked with Shannon and other city officials, and we've done that work. We've done that work because we understand that we have to be humbled about our individual selves and think about the community at large. And Shannon, I hope that answered the question a little bit.
And also, Vidal, some people would like you to provide the resources as either a PDF or a Word document. And, you share it with me and I share with all the registrants. And
sure, absolutely.
They said, I've never heard DREDF and other organizations that you mentioned.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I can get those to you, Jordan. Not a problem.
Yeah. Great.
Awesome. Any other questions, Jordan?
Shannon said, love Jan and the folks at Pacific ADA Center. Great resources.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. All right. Well, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn it over to Jessica to give a plug for YO, which is Youth Organizing Disabled and Proud. So go for it.
Can I, sorry, Jessica, can I go ahead and leave? Sarah, I've got some stuff to do.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Vidal. We appreciate you so much. And thank you
Absolutely.
for taking out time on your Saturday to be with us, because
And,
you
and
know
thank
you're a bad A double dollar sign.
Yeah.
We love you.
And thank you for everyone who attended the symposium. We were glad to put this on, and have everyone have a great day. Rest of your Saturday. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Vidal. All right, Jessica, plug away.
For sure. And I'll try to make it short and sweet. So just kind of going with a lot with what Vidal said. Ed Roberts is someone that has been of an extreme importance towards our community. And we have a lot of stuff going on. For example, next Sunday, it's Ed Roberts Day. We're actually doing a celebration for him where we interviewed 19 different people who had met Ed Roberts and interacted with him and worked with him. And we kind of brought together people that interacted with him and young people to be able to go deeper into that discussion of how, like, no matter which generation, he still leaves an impact, and why he's such an important person for us still today, because he was someone that unified all of this work into making sure our voices are being heard. So quickly want to state that we do have an event next Sunday at 5 p.m. And this is everything that was done by our YO volunteers. Like, our YO program is made of different volunteers who care so much about disability rights. So this is something that's big. We also started having our Disabled Voices of Color speaker series, where that goes more into interconnecting disability justice with disability rights. And our first guest speaker will be Mia Mingus, who will be speaking next Thursday at our event. So like, that's also something that's very exciting, and how it all interconnects with YO and why people should be involved with YO Disabled and Proud is that it's an amazing program where you volunteer for about a year, and then you're able to work on a specific project that's important to you. So each of our volunteers specifically works on a project that they feel is important, that like needs a sense of discussion, and amongst different other things. So like, our speaker series was done by one of our volunteers who wanted to be able to incorporate that discussion. Another of our volunteers really wanted to delve deeper into Ed Roberts, so that was her big project. Then we also have a podcast, which was done by a third volunteer who really wanted to integrate how disability rights, how many issues occur within the educational realm, and why it's important towards being able to interconnect education with disability rights. So it's such an amazing program because they have a sense of mentorship from different folks within CFILC, but at the same time, they're able to really grow and learn and advocate for youth while being able to interact with different programs and being able to learn from them. And as we mentioned, since we are always in a transition, it's not that after 1 year your work is done. It's more so that you're able to utilize that to help you become the best possible leader you can be. And then from there, it's being able to get that support from CFILC towards whatever direction you want to take it. And oftentimes that leads towards jobs within the movement, being able to get support within the educational realm, because we have had a lot of folks move into education. So it's like a really great program where like you're able to learn, experience what it means to organize, but at the same time being able to get skills that you might already have had, but like more defining those skills and just being able to utilize that into your life and just being able to grow from it. So if anyone wants to join YO Disabled and Proud, it will be really great. One just has to sign up into our YO Disabled and Proud. We have a page. So if someone signs up to be a volunteer, they just get interviewed and then the process goes from there. But I'm very excited because we have amazing young people who truly care about making sure that youth voices are being heard and are currently working within their communities towards making sure that like youth voices are heard throughout the state and like on a national scale, because we have some youth that have moved to other states and are still continuously pursuing disability rights within the states that they now live on. But yeah, that's my small spiel.
Well, that was beautiful. And then maybe if you could in the Q&A drop CFILC's website so that people can find where they can go to register for those great events.
For sure, give me one second.
Awesome, awesome. And just to let everyone know, we've had Yo volunteers before. We are going to have another Yo volunteer this year. And it's just been such a great experience on both sides of the fence, both for us as an organization and for the youth. And a lot of times these youth, they end up getting employment at the centers that they work at. We actually did employ one of our Yo volunteers for a very long time, and then he moved on to another position someplace else. But it's really a great opportunity for sure. And if you know any youth or young adults that would be interested in being part of that program, you can definitely reach out to Jessica. You can reach out to me, and we can get that going. But I so appreciate you, Jessica. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope that you have a fantabulous day.
Likewise.
Thank you, thank you. And do we have any other maybe questions lingering over there, Jordan, before we move on?
Nope, no activity.
So, Jordan, we should have thought about this earlier, but I just thought about it while I was listening to everybody talk. We should throw out in the universe our link to sign up for our great activities e-blast that Jordan puts together. Where we have not just activities that we have going on that we send out to everybody, but we send out other activities as well. I've even slated for Jordan to send out that activity that they're doing for Yo, the Ed Roberts Day. But it's really a great way to, get email. You see hey, there's going to be cooking for independence today. And, you feel like just decompressing and not working and watching something that's going to be fun. You can click on the link and head right in. And so Jordan, maybe before we end today, you can throw that link in the Q&A to, give people the opportunity to sign up for that activities mailing list, because I think it does make such a difference. And just to plug, next Friday, RACV and Be About It with Jordan and Aubrey at the helm will be celebrating Ed Roberts as well. So if you sign up for the email list, you'll get that information too. And so I think we should draw a prize before we move on to our next thing. What do you think, Jordan? I know I have you doing 1,200 things at one time.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, the link for the mail list is in the Q&A, and then you want to pick a prize. Here we go. Echo. Choose a random number between 1 and 41.
Here's a number between 1 and 41. It's 4.
It's 4 again. That's Pam. It's
Yeah.
the same person. That's so funny.
That's weird. Okay. Echo. Choose a random number between 1 and 41.
Here's a number between 1 and 41. It's 18.
18.
All right, we got Becky Coombs. Ding, ding, ding.
Is Becky here?
Yes, she is.
All right. Congratulations, Becky. Cool, cool. And where are we at in our agenda? What do we have coming on next? I think it's you and Rebecca. Am I right?
Yeah, we just.
Awesome. I'm going to go and trust my camera.
Okay. So the last part, I'm going to add a spotlight to myself, is we're giving a tribute to Matt Traverso. So Matt was originally going to be a speaker for you guys today, and he works on policy. I'm going to add a spotlight to Rebecca as well. And he unfortunately passed away. And so we didn't want to replace that, but we did want to take a moment out of our time today during this webinar to honor him and, honor his memory and, thank him for being a, policy influencer and, being the voice for people with disabilities to, advocate for us when we don't know that we need to advocate. And so Rebecca, do you want to add anything?
I have worked with Matt a bit time and he was a good guy. He was very, very passionate about his work and he just wanted to get information to those who need help. And he was very passionate about what he does or what he did. Thank you.
No problem.
Oh,
And then also, I'm sorry, Sarah, I interrupted you. There's one extra question in the Q&A, and I don't know how to answer this. It's too much to type, but they're wondering what that link is that I put in the Q&A. And that link is I send out announcements for RACV that any youth announcements or anything that consumers would like to join. And I also on Tuesday am sending out the Ed Roberts celebration that that Jessica is putting on. So we, send out notifications of things that we're doing and also that other agencies are doing that we think are necessary for people to know about.
Yeah, keep people connected, right, Jordan?
Definitely.
And we try to do a good job at that because, we know that there's a lot of stuff out there that we just don't always know about unless we dig for. And so if we can help out in any way by just sending a couple of emails to where people are able to, get connected in a different way to something that they never knew about, hey, we're going to do it. That's for sure. So, I just really want to take a minute and thank Jordan and Aubrey and Mikey and Rebecca for really just doing such a great job of working together as a committee and putting together the symposium. It's been super. And I'm going to give Aubrey a minute here to go ahead and read a little bit about Mikey and Rebecca. You guys have already heard about Jordan, Aubrey, and myself. So Aubrey, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, thank you. All right, so Rebecca Donabed lives in Tulare, California. She serves on the board of directors for RICV. She is the vice chair of the Tulare County Voting Accessibility Advisory Committee and serves on the Tulare County Social Service Transit Advisory Committees. Rebecca is a member of the statewide self-advocacy network representing the Sequoia regional area that serves Merced County through Kern County. And Michael Escobar is a lifelong resident of Tulare County. He was born with cerebral palsy and has a learning disability. He has been an advocate for people with disabilities for 20 years. He is involved with several committees in Tulare County, such as Visalia Transit Committee, State Council Committee Sequoia Office, Voter Accessibility Advisory Committee of Tulare County, and the Tulare County Association of Governments of Tulare County. He also works with Central Valley Regional Center and the Self-Determination Program. He has worked for Resources for Independent Central Valley for 1.5 years as an independent living specialist for Tulare and Kings County. So thank you to Rebecca and Michael. They definitely helped make this all happen today.
Definitely.
For sure. And, and I really I'm so grateful to everyone that was able to make it today. And my gosh, we had such a great group of speakers. We couldn't ask for anything better. It was amazing. And so just so you know, we will be kind of editing all this, putting it together, and we will send out links so that if you have a buddy that you want to share anything with, you'll be able to do so. And again, I just want to thank everybody, and we're going to have a survey that's going to pop up, and Jordan's going to tell you a little bit more about that.
Yes, first I would like to give thanks to our interpreters, Diana and Aaron. Thank you so much for your hard work. We appreciate you. And then after, when you guys leave the webinar, a survey will pop up. And if you fill out the answers, we have a grand prize for a pair of AirPods. So, you know, if you want to, so please, as to fill out the survey, that would be great. And then it gives us information on, you know, did this hit the mark? Do we continue to do this? Is there other areas that you guys would like to learn more information and all that? So it's helpful to us as well.
Most definitely. Then anybody else from the committee want to say anything before we close out? All right, hearing none. Well, thank you, Diana. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, all of my friends, and have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your Saturday and a fantabulous weekend. And happy Martin Luther King Day. And we'll see you all another time. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.